Hey there! This time I'm going to talk about color theory and color combinations, which colors go well with each other and things like that. So, let's start. So, I will start by showing you the color wheel. But be careful, the color wheel in your graphics program like Photoshop, Sci and so on have a different color wheel. It's more centered around red, green and blue, which are equally distant from each other. While this color wheel here is there for us to pick out the complementary colors. The complementary colors are colors which are on opposite sides on this color wheel. Like for example here this yellow, orange and this blue, which work pretty well with each other. Or a famous example would be red and green. Then we have analogous colors, and these are colors which are in the close vicinity of one color that you pick. Like for example, I have here yellow, and the analogous colors would be the colors close to it. And those colors of course too work well with each other. Then we have the so-called triad color combination. For example, the most famous one would be probably yellow, cyan and magenta, which are also the basic colors in subtractive color mixing. All of these three together will add to gray or black. And I talked about that in my previous video about color science. And what we also do is we make a distinction between warm colors and cool colors. Warm colors are more on the orange or red side, and cool more on the blue side. And the way to make a good looking painting would be to have a balance between those two. For example, you have a painting in a very dark environment like a cave or a forest in the night, and you add, for example, a campfire. So you have some nice little warm element still to it. So let's look at some examples. I have here a drawing of a butterfly and I filled in these areas with different colors. And for example here, I have an orange color, a yellow color, and very pretty blue color. And the blue and the yellow are complementary colors, while the orange right here is an analogous color for yellow. So the next example, we have here yellow and its complementary color purple, and also the analogous colors for this yellow and for purple. Let's look at the triad color combination now. We have here yellow, cyan and magenta that I also showed before. These color combinations just now had very bright and saturated colors, but there are other colors too, of course. And these examples here are not exactly put together according to these color theories with complementary colors and analogous colors, but they were mixed together. And I had here in these diagonals the original colors that I chose, and then I mixed them together. And I will show you now some different ways how to mix colors together and get a nice color palette. So we have here a dark magenta, an orange and a pretty strong blue. And one way to mix them together would be, for example, if you align these colors in this way and make it a little bit sloppy, but yeah, sorry for that. And then you take a pen with a lower opacity, like for example 30%, and just press only once on the other colors in the rows, and you get some nice palette. And what you can also do is to align these colors, and then you get a nice looking transition between those. Alright. Another way is if you're using digital media, a pen that has the ability to mix colors. So for example here I make this dark magenta blob, and then I pick the orange and very lightly press on it and pull out the color until I get back to the original orange. And I do this the same with the blue. And if you're using traditional media, of course, then you can do the same. Just be careful to use not too much color. And also it depends on what kind of colors you're using. There we go. there we are back to the original blue. And right in between we have all the different colors and a sort of a gradient. And now when we look at this gradient here, you notice that the saturation is changing too. And this depends on which colors you're using and how far they are apart. For example, here this dark magenta and this very strong blue are almost at the complete opposite sides here on the color wheel. And what that means is that when we get closer and closer to the middle, then it's almost gray, because they are opposite colors and they cancel each other out, as to say. Another way, if you're using digital media, would be to make a box selection and choose your gradient and then pull, and you have a gradient with all the colors in between those two. And then you just move the box, choose the next color, and the same with the last combination, of course. There we go. Of course, you can also go ahead and make several copies and change the brightness and the saturation of them to increase your palette. And there you go, you have a lot of different colors to choose from. So these color theories are very convenient. They are very good for you to pick out the colors that work well with each other. However, there is a little bit more to that. It's kinda an experience thing where you have to see which colors work well with each other and which don't. Also, a good way would be to look at other people's artworks which have very impressive colors and analyze which colors they chose and why they chose them. Okay, it's Q&A time, and this video's question is, what gender those two have? Yeah, it's really a question that I get very often. Well, those two are two ladies. And, well, I didn't choose it exactly, it just happened when I went to the Elmer shelter, and yeah, it could also have been boys, but yeah. The question for you guys this time is, which other person's artwork has the most impressive colors to you? For me, it would be this picture by Yume, which has really pretty colors and it's very inspiring. I'm very curious about what you will leave in the comment section. Okay, so as always, if you have any questions, feedback or requests for me, then please let me know in the comment section or send me a tweet. And if you want to help me keeping this show running, then you can support me on Patreon, where you can also get some nice rewards. Alright then, have fun drawing!